This is a proof of manifestation because I've been seeing this for the past couple of days. So thank you.
And it's just a lucky break. No, my daughter said to me as I go up, ask about money. So I'll ask for my daughter first and then ask for yourself. What is it you've come to talk about?
I'm loving your work. I'm passionate about your work. And I want to bring it into more ways in my life. I'm finding I love art and writing. And I see that you just did a CD about music, and I'm wanting to bring this into art and writing so that I can share it and bring it out in the world in a way that honors my soul.
Well, the most important thing for you to remember is that you did not come forth to fix something that is broken. And we didn't really hear that from you in your remarks just now, but there is a little bit of that in there somewhere. We want you to realize that whether it is art or music or anything else, it is still creativity. And the reason that so often you fixate on something like art or music is because it is something that for a long time humans have been calling creative endeavor. And we're wanting you to realize that really everything is. So when you find something that really rings your bells and you focus upon it at the same time that you are deliberately releasing resistance, what begins to happen is you tap into an energy stream, and that energy stream flows in a non-resisted way toward the subject of your attention, and you create masterfully, you create massively. It does not matter what creative direction you're wanting to flow the energy of source. You always have access to it. It will always expand proportionate to your desire. There's always enough for you and everyone else. And that really is what you've come forth to help others to understand. It's not when Esther first began receiving us in this way, she said to us, Abraham, am I supposed to tell others what you are telling me? And we said, our answers are coming forth in response to your questions, and we are only telling you. The experience of an Abraham workshop is about many of you gathering together with things that you're wanting to know and summoning it forth. But you are certainly not needing the vortex called Esther to receive the answers to your questions. And so we never want to give anyone the impression that there is something that you are meant to do or something that you are supposed to do or some responsibility that you are needing to fulfill. This is a joy-based universe where you get to conclude your individual preferences and source energy will answer you. And of course, when you are the allower of that which you are asking for, you are a wonderful example to others of how they can achieve whatever it is that they are wanting. And that is the reason that we powerfully encourage someone like you who is becoming more clear about what you want to get lined up with it and allow it to flow, but not in the sense that you're trying to prove something to someone, because there is no evidence to the contrary of what we teach. Whether anybody ever actually understands law of attraction or not, it still will be. It is through the clarity of your example that you live your joyous experience, and others who seek a joyful experience may mimic you in some ways. Yes.
To clarify my question then, I've worked with art as an art therapist, and I see with others' art that it brings me to a very joyful place. And what I'm saying is I want that to come through my art.
Well, when you are in alignment with who you are, what flows forth comes forth primarily to satisfy your intentions. And as your intent is to express joy through your art, then it does, you see. Whenever anyone offers anything, whether it is music or art, anything creative, but let's talk about the tangible ones like paintings or sculptures. They literally imbue their work with the way they feel as they created it. And then others who are sensitive to energy and on a similar vibe line up with it. That's why it's difficult to decide what is the perfect art. It's difficult to decide what is the best art because different people resonate with different things for different reasons, you see. We encourage that you decide how you want to feel, get into that feeling place, and then let it flow forth. Something that we see commonly with physical friends that does not work out very well is they decide first that they will discover their audience, and then they try to mold their artistic experience to satisfy what they think their audience wants. And it is usually a less satisfying experience, always less fun for the artist. If instead you will get in sync with who you are and let your natural desires be manifest through your work, what happens is your audience will find your work because you are in alignment with you. It is ever so much more productive and satisfying all the way around. We want you to do your art because it's fun to do your art, not because you have some finished project that you are trying to reveal to the world. In other words, if you will let it be about the way you feel when you create it, then you will fulfill your purpose of wanting to be the uplifter that you are. If you are focused upon the end result, sometimes you can get lost in the process. So what did we say? The purpose of your art is the joy in the process. And the more joyful you are, the more beautiful your art will be. But if you say, I want to create beautiful art for joy, you're going about it the backwards way. The most beautiful art we have ever seen was created by children because they are not judging it. They are not unhappy with it. They are lost in the moment of it. And you see it in the colors, in the free-flowing expressions. You see it in the gay abandon. The process of art for children is such a valuable process.
Picasso said, it took me 50 years to let go of what I've learned so I can get back to my childhood and let that flow through me. So I understand what you're saying. Thank you. I'm working with your daily book, and I'm up to working on segments. I find it difficult at times to organize my day and utilizing it, but I understand the benefit of it, and I'd love for more input on how to utilize that wonderful gift that you're giving us on segments.
Well, we're happy to talk about the idea of what we have called segment intending in the framework of what we are now calling the path of least resistance or the path of most allowance, because as you meld these two subjects together, really understanding the intent of both of them, it can give you a more powerful moment, more moments of your day. Now, here's the idea of segment intending. Segment intending says, I recognize right now where I stand, which is where all of my power is, that I have a set of intentions for here and now. And because I want to make the most of this moment, which is me meeting source, meeting my time-space reality, since I'm wanting to make the most of this moment, I'm going to, not for the benefit of the universe who needs to know what I want from this moment, but more for the benefit of myself who wants to align with what I've already told the universe that I want, I'm going to make my statement of intent. In other words, it's sort of like I'm going to, on purpose, beat the drum of what I want rather than letting somebody else set the tone of the drum or beating some drum that I don't mean to beat. In other words, I'm going to stop now and I'm going to clarify what do I most want. Now, you realize that a new segment is any time your intentions change, if even slightly, from the last segment. So there are many segments in a day. When the telephone rings, you enter a new segment because somebody's about to enter your experience if you choose to answer the phone. And so that's a different set of intentions than if you are working in the garden by yourself. And taking a moment to remember who you are before you interact with that person who's calling on the phone can serve you extremely well, because one or the other of you is going to dominate the energy stream. In other words, one or the other of you is going to set the tone of this vibration. Now, if you have already aligned with source energy and you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and someone is ringing your phone who's not there, then you may want to, in the middle of your transition, you may want to stop and identify who you are and what you most want. A very lovely man called Jerry Nestor recently, you know him, his name is Wayne Dyer, and wanted to meet with them, says, I've been a fan for many, many years, and I'm coming and wanting to have dinner with you. And so he left a message for Esther to return, and when Esther returned the call, his cell phone machine message said, I'm happy to hear from you, and I am anticipating that you have something very happy to tell me. If that's the case, leave a message. If that's not the case, call Dr. Phil. It's wonderful. And Esther said to Jerry, isn't that perfect in advance segment intending? In other words, not only is he intending, he's pre-intending. He's letting you know what his intentions are. So what we're getting at here is, as you have already taken the time to tune in, tap in, turn on to the energy that is you, and you are hearing your telephone ring, if whatever is on the other end of that telephone is a vibrational match to who you are, you'll be inspired to go to it right now. If it is not, you may have the clarity to wait a little bit. In other words, you can tell by the way you feel which it is. Now, we're not encouraging you to jump to the answering of your telephone. That's not our message here. Our message is that the more you take the time to stop and set forth your intentions, the more pre-paving, meaning the more aligning of energies into your future you do. But more importantly, the more you alert yourself to a conscious awareness of what you're rendezvousing with. So, by segment intending, as we talk about identifying what you are wanting, we talked earlier about you taking that ride and you've got someone riding with you that thinks you should go a different way. And if you've not taken any time to identify what this segment of the day means to you and what you are wanting from it, then you could maybe, just through that brief interaction, get swept into some resistance or resentment or even an argument. But if you have identified your segments, now this is where the path of least resistance sort of dovetails with this. If you've taken the time to identify not only this segment of your day, meaning we're going to have a lovely drive together, we're going to be efficient, and maybe we'll see some lovely things along the way. But the most important thing to me is that we get there on time and that we are safe in our travel and that we're enjoying one another. Oh yes, and there is more as I reach deeper into the intention. It is my intent to live happily ever after, and it is my intent to enhance this relationship, and it is my intent that we get along famously together, and it is my intent to love and honor you. It is my intent to be loved and honored. It is my intent to understand that well-being is. In other words, the broader you get and the less specific you get, the easier it is for you to hook back in to the vibration of well-being. And so this segment intending means reaching for the thoughts that feel best as specifically or generally as you have to be. But the more often you do it, the more you practice. And here's the key. The more you practice the beating of a drum or the activating of a vibration that serves you well, so that each new segment that you walk into has sort of been pre-paved by the last and by the last and by the last and by the last. Sometimes people think that segment intending means stand here, realizing all that could go wrong, identify what I would prefer to go right, make a very clear and conscious statement of what I want so that I can protect myself from what goes wrong. And we say, oh, that's sort of activating everything. And then you've got this big mess that you're constantly trying to clean up as you go. So segment intending gets easier and easier as you identify again and again and again and again and again who you are. If we were standing in your physical shoes and we were going through a day of segment intending, it would start out by saying, I know that life is good for me, and I know that things are supposed to continue to be good, and I'm anticipating good things to show up in lots of different ways, and I'm happily anticipating the different phases of this day where I get to interact with lots of different people and lots of different ideas, and I know that I will have lots of surprises and lots of delights and lots of opportunities and lots of conclusions and lots of understandings. This is just going to be a wonderful day. I'm eager for it to unfold in whatever way it can. That would be a sort of general statement of intent for the day. And then as you are moving more specifically into different aspects of the day, of course, if you are gardening by yourself, your intentions would be different than if you are engaged in a telephone conversation. So while you're gardening, you might say, I'm wanting to really feel the delicious spirit of these flowers, and I'm really wanting to feel the rhythm of the earth, and I'm wanting this time in the garden to open myself to the appreciation that I naturally feel for all of this beauty and all of this nature that is before me, and I'm wanting to have a very good time while I'm here. If you're getting into a telephone conversation with someone, you might say, I am so wanting to discover the deliciousness of this person, and I'm wanting our interaction to be mutual mutually uplifting to each other. And I'm wanting to continue to remember how much I love life and this person. And I'm wanting to remember how much this person loves life and loves me. And I'm wanting this conversation to be uplifting to both of us. And since I only have 5 minutes, I'm wanting it to come together succinctly and quickly. And I'm wanting us to both feel satisfied when it has come. I'm wanting it to reach a natural conclusion where both of us feel uplifted and better for having had it. You see, you make a few intentions like that, and can you imagine the way you begin to align your days? Day after day after day, magnificent things come to you, and people that don't understand the power of directing thought and the power of guiding thought by paying attention to the way you feel will stand back and look at you in amazement like you live some sort of magical life.